We're here for our Tuesday media availability with Coach Wilcox. As always, just let me know in the chat if you've got questions. And we will go ahead and get started with Jeff Ferrato from Cal Sports Report. Go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, hello, Justin. How you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
Good. Can you first of all bring us up to speed with whatever you know about injury situations, Damian Moore, Jeremiah Hunter? I see that Will Craig is still not on the depth chart, so I presume he's not available.
Yeah, Will would not be available. Damian and Jeremiah going to be day to day at this point.
Is there anybody else we should know about?
Nothing new to report on anybody else currently. Coming out of the game, there really wasn't much thankfully to comment on.
And Coyne, you sort of gone all along that just sort of week to week still.
Yep.
Obviously, he hasn't come back. Have you guys had a conversation about what he's going to do after this season in terms of whether he might return to Cal?
Yeah, so his situation hasn't changed. It's still week to week. We've had some conversations with Coyne. He's right now is focused on his rehabilitation, and there'll be some other decisions that he needs to make moving forward. But right now it's all rehab and seeing if he can get back to playing. And
if I could just ask you about the bowl eligibility situation, is that something you guys discuss as a team, or does everybody sort of know what's going on? I mean, theoretically, you could get in potentially if everything falls right with 5 wins, if there aren't enough teams to fill 6 wins. But I presume you don't discuss that. But how much conversation is there about the bowl picture in general?
Well, people know. I mean, we don't. I mean, I guess the coaches live in a bit of a bubble, but the players sure don't. Not with the devices they hold in their hands. So everybody's well aware that each game we play, we need to win, and so I think we're aware of that. The guys know it. We talk about it for about 3 seconds, and then we turn all of our focus on to preparing to play UCLA.
Of course. Are you pleased with the way your guys have responded after a 1-5 start that could have left you unraveled?
Yeah, I think it kind of speaks to the players that we have here and just how they approach things, the staff as well, really locking arms and staying together. Nobody ever wavered. I think they recognized early in the year that we weren't real far off. We just, unfortunately, we're a play short too many times. And those aren't excuses, they're explanations, and we have to find ways to improve, which I think we have improved. I think that, really in each phase of the game, and a number of players have shown considerable improvement throughout the year. So we need to continue with that this week.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll go to Trace Travers from Rivals. Go ahead, Trace.
Yeah, Coach, on the first play, the Marcel play that went for 76 yards, maybe I was hallucinating this, but I could swear I heard 17 power being yelled from the field. Was that 17 power? And it seemed like you guys ran a lot of power on Saturday.
We did run some power. We ran some other types of runs as well. We called G, and we ran some different zone schemes. And so I think the offense, just a really impressive showing. Bill really all year long just putting together a great game plan, and then the coaches communicating that to the players, and the players buying into the process of preparation and what it takes to play well. And then ultimately the guys went out and executed it, and that's what it takes. I think the number of contested plays that were made, broken tackles, making somebody miss, a contested catch, contested throws, that's the O-line obviously played well. So I think that's what it takes to play well in our conference. And the guys did that. So proud of them.
Just for those of us who are uneducated, what's the difference between a G and a power?
Where the puller pulls from.
Is it
front
a
side
front
versus backside? There you go.
Okay, cool. That's what I was curious about. And on another note, you guys had a handful of pooch kicks on kickoffs. What was the thought process behind that?
Just kind of throwing some change ups, and we know they had a very good returner, and it was we weren't able to quite get the ball deep into the end zone. And so we have a few different wrinkles that we can employ on kickoff just to kind of keep their kickoff return off balance. That's the goal there.
Awesome. Thank you.
And we'll go to Steve Kroner from the San Francisco Chronicle.
Yeah, Justin, excuse me. No one's ever accused me of having excessive intelligence or knowing that much about football. But I'll say from my perspective that if I were voting for Pac-12 quarterback all conference, my choice would be between Chase Garbers and Dorian Thompson-Robinson. Would I be wrong?
Oh, I think those are two good choices. I think if you look, I know we're preparing for Dorian. We've played him a number of times. He's a very talented player. He can run it. He can throw it. He's buys time. He can extend the play, and he's done it for a long time. He's got a lot of experience. Chase, I think, is playing his best football of his career as of late, and it's a tribute to him and Bill Musgrave continuing to develop his game even after playing for a long time. And it's sometimes hard when you see, seniors who've played for 4 years. You don't always see the improvement that you might see in a freshman or a sophomore. And Chase continues to improve, which has been really impressive to watch. And I think both those guys are well-deserving candidates.
We'll go to Jim McGill. Go ahead, Jim.
Hey, Justin, obviously the offense performed at a really high level in the big game. Do you see some particular areas you can build on coming into the UCLA game?
Yeah, I mean, there's still plenty to coach from off the tape. I mean, we had our meetings yesterday on Monday where we do corrections from the game and watch the tape, and then we move on to UCLA, but there was still plenty of work to be done. I mean, we obviously celebrate the great efforts and the win, but we want to make sure that just because we won, we don't overlook some things that we need to improve or fix. So we spent time on that yesterday, and offense, defense, and special teams all had plenty of things that we can clean up and get better at. And then we went out and had a productive practice.
Any particular keys you see to controlling the UCLA offense?
Well, they're, as you know, they're scoring more than anybody in the conference right now. You put up 62 points against USC last week. And obviously they're good at running back. The quarterback's a very good player. The tight ends are talented. They got perimeter speed. So they do it different ways as well. They'll run it, obviously run the ball really, really well. They got the RPO game, the tempo game, unbalanced. So they do a lot of different things. Chip's obviously an excellent coach, and it'll be a great challenge for our defense this week. No doubt about that.
Thanks.
We'll go back to Trace Travers. Go ahead, Trace.
Yeah, kind of a less serious question, but you got Daniel Etter in there at the end of the game. How good was it to not only get him in, but a bunch of other guys you got in Stredick, some of the younger offensive or defensive linemen and linebackers in there? How was it to finally get those guys as well as Robbie Rowell, I should say? Yeah,
Robbie. I mean, I think if you watch did you see the reaction to when some of those guys got in and,
Yes.
when Daniel got a chance to snap? If you watch the reaction on the sidelines, I think that would tell you what you need to know about how the team feels about those guys, So Daniel, Robbie, a number of the young players got in and had a chance to play in the big game, and it just means a lot. So it was great to see those guys be rewarded with those reps.
Awesome. Thank you.
Then we'll go back to Jeff Ferrano.
Justin, talking about your defense, you guys have made a lot of changes from the start of the year to now. Some of them because you had lost people, but many others because players emerged and deserved to play. Can you just talk about how your defense has come together? We talk about the offense a lot after last week, but for a month or so now, your defense has played pretty well.
Yeah, I think, over the past month, the defense has grown week by week, and it's a tribute to Pete and the defensive staff, tweaking some things, but also, making some changes that were necessary. And I think the players who have put themselves in position to earn more playing time, there's a number of DBs that have done that, and some youngsters, the development of the young players, whether you look at Lou Hearns or Isaiah or the young inside linebackers that are really the production at that position has grown exponentially here in the past month or month and a half. And the same with the D line. I just think those guys, the reps they're getting in games, the instruction they're getting, and their competitiveness they've made our defense better, made our defense better. And that's a tribute to players, but also Pete and the staff of really doing a great job working with those guys.
Does that give you at least some sense of confidence going into a game against a team that scored 106 points in its last 2 games?
Yeah, I think our guys are excited for a challenge like that. I mean, each and every week those guys show up ready to compete, and they're a hungry group. They have a ton of respect for who we're playing and understand it'll be a great challenge, but they're competitive guys and they want to go play well. And I don't think that'll be any different this weekend.
Thank you.
Then we go to David Bush from Berrien Center.
Hi, Justin. You mentioned Lou Hearns when you were listing the players. Could you get a little more detail about what he's done and the contributions he's made?
Yeah, Lou is a great example of a guy that's just came in here, worked really hard, and each and every week the guy gets better. And he's got tools. I mean, Lou's got quick feet. He can run, but he's not the biggest guy in the world. But I tell you what, for what he lacks maybe in stature, his savvy and competitiveness are really impressive. And, to go out and really second play of the game, he was in 0 man and undercuts the post route and intercepts the ball. And then he had, I think, 4 PBUs or so. And some of those PBUs, he's given up more than 1 inch, maybe 4, 5, and 6 inches in terms of his matchup, but very competitive. And a lot like a guy we had here playing good football for us for a number of years, he plays with incredible calm. There's no panic in his game. He's under control, and really proud of Lou. And Trey Watson's done a great job with him, but he's certainly gotten better every week and helped our pass defense.
Thanks.
Then we'll go back to Steve Kroner from San Francisco Chronicle.
Yeah, Justin, last week, I know a lot of the conversation was about you guys getting healthy, getting back from the COVID break. I know you can't talk specifics, but in general, are you pretty much completely over that? Or are there still a few lingering effects?
Well, there's still, the protocols changed from what they were prior. So we still have kind of some different rules to follow, which we will do until they, amend them again. But in terms of no positive tests, we've been good for about the last week, I guess, in terms of any positive. So we're always, I suppose, like everybody, just cautiously optimistic there will be no interruptions.
Congrats.
Mm-hmm. Thanks.
Okay, guys, anybody with a final question for Coach? Okay.